What up, y'all? Y'all know what it is, man. Your boy, Trendsetter Sense. Of course, this is Chosen Journey. And I got a special conversation today, man. This brother right here shares the same walk as the Chosen Journey walk. He's a leader, he's a man of God, he's a voice of the community. My brother, the world famous Sir Neiko.
What's up, sir?
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling amazing, man. I'm sitting here with Trendsetter. Yes, it's a good day.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
man. First of all, man, salute to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Behind the scenes, we have a lot of conversations
Yeah.
and we talk about our testimony, and I kind of want to dive into
Let's do
your
it.
testimony
Oh, man, let's do
and
it.
your journey, man,
Yeah.
because even though we have, we've had some conversations behind the scenes, and you
Yeah.
talk about, finding your purpose
Yeah.
and, your foundation, starting off in the mainstream world, and now you're a big voice in the gospel world as well, man. Can we just kind of dive into the calling for Sir Neiko?
Yeah, man. Well, I started off in urban, man. I grew up in the church, though. I got to take it back there. I grew up in the church, and I made sure that was a big part of the book. I even gave people laugh because I even gave my church address. You know what I'm saying? Like
In the book,
right? So people don't pull up on my old church. Please don't. But nah, man, that was my foundation, man. That was my foundation. My grandparents started the church, and then it went generational.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was a thing. We were in church all the time.
Okay.
And some of us, we kind of as we get older, we kind of go and do our own thing and move away. But I always had that foundation, man. And I knew at some point that God was going to have me come back that way. But R&B, hip hop radio, that was me, man. I was hosting the clubs. I was using language and doing
Right.
all the things,
Yeah.
So it was a time where I felt kind of pulled to come back. I remember specifically I was at a certain radio station, and during my shift, I couldn't no longer listen to the music. I had to turn the volume down in order to get through my shift. And I will only turn it up right before I crack the mic.
Wow.
So the last 30 seconds, I will listen to it so I can get the vibe of the record, and to come back in. And I was like, God, I can't, this is not for me anymore. And that was confirmation that I wasn't supposed to be in that arena anymore.
Wow.
And so that's when I was I literally was like, all right, I got to walk out of this. And faith, I started my own gospel show, and that's how it happened. And then from there, I never left. So,
Wow. It just took over, man.
It took over, yeah.
That's funny you said that, hosting the nightclubs and myself being a DJ, man. I remember we had a conversation and you were talking about how you felt like you had to have a drink before you even cracked the mic. And I remember even as a DJ, man, it was like, oh, I need this liquid courage.
Yeah.
And it was like you became dependent on that.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about, going through that experience, and then, how it just dropped and what called you to be able to let go of these vices?
Yeah, man. Looking back, it was crazy. It was crazy. I remember having to do that, now thinking about it, in order to get that liquid courage, as you said. And that was the only way that I can get through it. And I had to think to myself, this is the only way that I can get through this. This is probably not what I need to be doing. You know what I mean? And I heard people, come to me, because outside of that, normally I'm a cool, laid back guy. I'm silly, I'm just whatever. But it was a different person. And when some close friends to me said, man, you turned into a different person that I wasn't used to you seeing. And I realized I was using that as a crutch.
Wow.
As a crutch. And I wasn't being my true self, because I wasn't being who they knew I was, I remember when I first got into gospel radio, it's funny because I used to always try to mimic what I heard. So when I heard a pastor on the radio, when I heard people saying scriptures in every sentence, I remember literally trying to mimic that and trying to speak as though I was Reverend Neiko. You know what I mean? And it took my close friends, man, and my wife. I remember specifically, she called me one day right after one of my breaks, and she was like, who is that? She was like, that's not you. She was like, you need to be who you are. She was like, people are going to be drawn to you. God put you in this position so people can see that you don't have to look like what society is saying you have to look like. You can wear your baseball caps, you can wear your chains, you can wear your J's, and you can still be, somebody that God uses. And that's when I was like, you're right. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna be myself.
Right.
And if I work for you, cool. If I don't, cool.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, man, but all those things was like, those are like red flags. Like I need to like pull back and get back to my foundation.
Mm.
And that's what I did.
My hurt,
Yeah.
your heal,
Mhm.
man. That's a very, very interesting
Mhm.
title, man. Your book
Yeah.
that's on Amazon right
Yes,
now.
yes.
Can you just talk about the inspiration behind this book?
The inspiration was, man, I finally got to a place where I was out of my hurt and I was walking in my healing. You
Mm.
know, I'm not ashamed to say I was, you know, I have a very good therapist, counselor who I was working with for 5 years. He really walked me through some traumatic times in my life. Whether it was, you know, when me and my wife first got together, you know, financial issues, or whether when we started try having kids, it took us years. You know, it was a struggle. We tried all things, you know, to the point where we just kind of gave up and was like, all right, God, in your timing, let this be done. And so, you know, it talks about a lot. It talks about my best friend was murdered
Mm.
in a drive-by shooting, you
Wow.
know, in broad daylight. And this is the same person that got me to Charlotte, North Carolina, is where my career started, where I was married, my kids were born, you know, all of these things. So God really like was like, you know, in order to evolve, you need to reveal, you
Mm.
know, because I felt like nobody really knew the real me. You
Mm.
know, I'm a joyful person. I love people. But there's a lot of pain and a lot of things that I went through that a lot of people didn't know.
Mm.
And especially to my close circle, I was like, man, they don't really know me, you
Mhm.
know? They just see this shell of me. And so I actually took some of my close homeboys out like literally couple months ago, and I kind of shared like, number one, I'm writing a book. Number two, this is some of the stuff that's in the book. I don't want y'all to be blindsided.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, all open.
all open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of my closest homeboys, man. We just sat there and you know, because I believe in, and I'm in a season where I tell people all the time, in this age, you know, when you're younger and you have people around you and they're just there to party and have a good time.
Mm.
I want relationships that have substance.
Mhm.
I want relationships that you can be vulnerable with. You can say, hey, bro, I'm struggling in my marriage right now.
Mm.
Because I've been married for 15 years.
Mm.
So if you're struggling in your marriage, don't be ashamed to come talk to me.
Mm.
If you're struggling with addiction, okay, cool. I had addiction too. Let's talk about it.
Mm.
Like, there's no shame. There's nothing off the table.
Mm.
And that's what I wanted to get to. I wanted people to feel how I feel,
Mm.
and that is freedom.
Mm.
I feel light because there's nothing you can use against me to stop me. And I knew God when God told me to reveal that, you know, as difficult as it was, and there was a lot of edits in the book, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, God, are you sure about this? Like, I don't know if I should put this out there,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
because it's like once you put it out, like, oh God,
Right,
I
right.
had anxiety, bro. Like the
Oh.
week going into,
Yeah.
I was quiet. My wife was like, you good? I was like, I said, because once April 4th hit, it's out there. And I
Mhm.
was like, but God, if you told me to do it, I'm gonna do it.
Wow.
And I'm a jump.
That's
And
amazing.
so I'm like getting emotional right now just thinking about it, because even to this day, and it's been out for almost 2 months now, I still get emotional because I'd be like, people be knowing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, there was some stuff in there that really, really was hard to talk about.
Is there something that you can share?
Yeah, like
Okay.
yeah, it's cool, man. Like, you know, I talked about my best friend, you know, that was hard. That was my first instance with death, that close to me. You know, he was only 22 years old, so
Wow.
he was a young guy, and he actually is. I consider him my guardian angel because he got me into this where I'm at now. But the biggest thing for me was, and because I knew that when I talked about this certain thing, is which I talked to my therapist about, that it was family related. So I talked about, you know, me being sexually molested
Mm.
when I was a child.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was big because nobody knew.
Right.
Nobody, not my wife, nobody, you know. And so I had to go down the line of having conversations. And because it was a family member, that made it more difficult,
Wow.
because that's what prolonged me from sharing this story, because I didn't want to shake the boat. I didn't want to rock the family, whatever. And so, but for me, the biggest inspiration was I wanted to be my full self to my children.
Mm.
I said, you know, especially because I have a son, I was like, you know, I don't want my son to, number one, have to go through what I went through.
Mm.
But also I wanted him to see that there's nothing that you can't overcome. This is what dad had to overcome.
Mm.
So if I can overcome this, you can too.
Mm.
And I realized I wasn't my full self to my children. Love them dearly. I'm a very hands-on father. Like I pick up, drop off. I'm at all the PTA meetings. I'm coaching basketball. I'm doing all of that, you know. Biggest cheerleader. But I was like, I don't want there to be nothing that they don't know. You know what I mean? And I want them, especially my son, to see that it is okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be transparent. It's okay to share your feelings. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have emotions, because life happens. And I tell people all the time, it's like when I was younger, it's like, man, you watch your parents, you be like, oh man, you know, they always say, oh, life is hard or whatever like that. But when you get to this age, man, life be lifing.
Right?
And life be lifing, man.
Yes.
And there's so many people walking around pretending to be okay.
Yeah.
No, I want to be okay. I want to legitimately be okay.
Mm.
And I'm okay.
Mm.
I'm okay now. So that's the book, bro. Like the book is heavy.
Wow.
It's heavy, but I've gotten great response. A lot of people have reached out of the blessings that it is been on them. And so I'm proud because I knew I was obedient and I knew God is going to bless me for that. And so, yeah, that's what has me excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's inspirational, man. And,
Yeah.
you know, for those that don't know, like
Yeah.
this man right here, first and foremost, he is a devoted father. He is a leader. You know, Praise 102.5 is one of the most influential gospel stations in the country. And right here, you're looking at this man right here who is one of the brains behind it, the assistant program director of Praise 102.5. And I just want to give you kudos, man.
Thank you.
The way you balance everything, and then the brotherhood that we formed.
Yeah.
And, you know, just your vulnerability, because there are a lot of people that are going through these experiences, and for you to be so relatable to people that may not know how to be outside of their comfort zone and be an and for you to be an inspiration.
Yeah.
Man, kudos to you, man. Definitely.
That's the beautiful part, man. You know, the balance is crazy. You mentioned balance. I've been talking about balance a lot. The balance is crazy because yes, I'm very hands-on. I take trips with my families, my daughter, my wife, and my son. You know, that's the crew. I tell people when I'm not doing anything outside or hosting anything or doing anything media or entertainment related, I am a homebody, bro. Like I have switched. I used to be such an extrovert. Now I'm an introvert. Because I genuinely love spending time with my family, you know. So that they are my motivation. And this is why all that comes. So when I'm out and about and people talk about praise, it's a beautiful thing, man, because I do feel like I've been put in a situation where I'm supposed to be the change. You know, I just had a conversation with a good buddy of mine, and we were just having this conversation. I was like, bro, we the leaders.
Exactly.
We are the leaders. Like people look at us. So like we have to make when things start to shift, it's up to us to create that lane and to go that route. So to hear that, man, it means a lot to me. I don't take it for granted. Even when I don't sometimes be doubting myself, like, can we get this done? Or, you know, it's a beautiful thing, man. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let them know again, the book, Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Please let them know everything about you, where people can find you. Lock in, bro.
Yeah, I ain't hard to find. When you see that little orange circle on Instagram, that's me, Sir Neiko, SirNeiko. Yo, like I'm always, most of the time I'm at the station. When I'm not, I'm home chilling. But you can find me on social media again, like it's Sir Neiko, and on Facebook is actually my government name, Neiko Flowers. But yeah, man, like you can find me there. The book is out, doing well. Shout out to everybody who has been in my DMs and texting me and stuff like that. You know, I really appreciate that, and it reminds me of why I did it. You know, it's the confirmation. I didn't do it to get rich. I did it to be obedient. You know, and I'm feeling I'm feeling the benefits of doing just that. My main goal, like I said earlier, is to get everybody from their hurt into their healing so they can walk in their full freedom and get to the purpose that God has for them. And so that's my purpose.
Absolutely, man. Also, kudos 2025
Mhm.
Gospel Music
Man,
Hall of Fame.
man, listen. Man, that I'm so like, it's crazy, bro. Like, cause I'm so like, okay, thank you. Like, but
No,
I'm
bro.
learning to, and I had to work at it. I'm learning to celebrate the wins
Mm.
because I am such a person that will like, yeah, that's cool. On to the next.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm slowing down, and that's a beautiful thing to slow down and take in. That I appreciate that, man. That is a huge accomplishment. When I tell you my whole family's coming out, it is like the group chat is crazy. Like I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna wear now because it's a big event, you know. But no, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I never would have thought this. And what's beautiful about everything is, man, my wife reminds me all the time. She was like, "Yo, you are literally." You're doing things that nobody in your family has ever done, you know? And I'm like, me, the little kid from Wilmington, North Carolina, who, you know, was buck wild, you know what I'm saying? Like, me, y'all sure? You know, but nah, man, it's beautiful, and I'm excited, for God, what God has for me. I'm genuinely excited for what I don't even know that he has. So that's the exciting part about it.
Unwavering faith, man.
Yeah.
My brother, man.
Yeah.
Man of God,
Yes,
leader,
sir.
father,
Yeah.
brother, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
No,
man.
man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. See it, man. You see it. Chosen Journey. My brother, Sir Neiko. Trendsetter Sense. Chosen Journey. We out.